I'm going to talk about ideas that people are spreading around in regard to the deep state. And it's like the new culture that's existing in the world. Well, I could talk more about my culture, which is Ohio, United States. And essentially, what that's all about is to say that there is a fear that exists and is being spread throughout the culture, which is something of a conspiracy theories, as you would say, that there's a secret cabal that exists in the world today. Who the cabal is, who the people are within this very small and elite group who are manipulating and abusing and cheating us out of a fair deal in the world. And it's the what they call the deep state. Now, maybe there's different versions of what people consider the deep state to be. I listen to that Assange guy and all these people. They tell us that the National Security Agency, NSA, has the ability today to monitor every single one of our electronic communications. And in this world today, there's a lot of electronic communications. There's, the telephone, the old-fashioned telephone. Then everybody's got a cell phone they can talk on. And then they text each other. And there's your computers and your handheld computers. And every single thing that you do on any one of these electronic devices, according to Julian Assange, is collected by a secret government agency, the National Security Agency, and they have the ability with the algorithms and the ability to monitor every single thing that every individual does, and then categorize it into every separate little thing for every individual. And the idea behind this is, of course, that they'll know everything you do. They'll know every click that you make with your computer or with your cell phone, so that they understand what you prefer and what you like and what you are tending to do. And they're able to categorize every individual into a separate little entity. This is how giant the computer is. It's a giant computer that monitors everybody and knows what everybody does as long as you're going through the electronic media. And, they have cameras set up all around the world, too, and set up in every street corner in the cities, so they know where you are. And they can monitor you with your cell phone, with a chip in your cell phone, to know exactly where you go. And every nickel that you spend, because everybody spends money now not with real cash, but mostly with the bank cards or Apple Pay or something like that. So every time you do something, this giant entity in the government, they say, has the ability to categorize you and find out what you do, what you prefer, where you're going, what you're thinking, who you're talking to, and they're monitoring everybody in the whole country. And there's a giant computer that has algorithms and is able to know who you are better than you know yourself, they say. And then they say that's one version of the deep state, is the government itself is after you, which I kind of contest myself, because we're supposed to be the government. It's supposed to be we the people is supposed to be the government. So when they say the government is doing it, then that means that who is the government? We the people, or is there another government, a secret government that exists somewhere in Washington? It's a giant throbbing brain. Who makes the decisions about what we're going to do about the information that we collect? Who is it? But there's a second version of the deep state. This one I prefer, but I'm not sure I even agree with that. The deep state is all about giant corporations, international corporations, corporations that know no borders. And this is somewhat true. That is that they collect the same metadata that otherwise the government would collect. And the metadata tells them what you prefer, and it presents you commercially with all these advertisements and presentations that they think you would prefer, so that you'll spend money on that. And what is the purpose behind that is, I think it's like they make more money. And the idea behind the deep state in this case is that there's a few very wealthy individuals in the world, extremely wealthy billionaires, who control the entire international economics and politics. They control everything, and you don't even know it because you are just a cog in the big machine. And when you buy something or you sell something or you work or you try to get a job or whatever you're trying to do, they decide through the metadata whether or not they're going to let you do it, or whether they're going to present you and steer you down a certain path. And this is the commercial version of this. And you know, it's undeniable that in the country, the United States of America, more money has gone into fewer hands, and that people have to work a little bit harder sometimes, or mostly, in order to keep their heads above water. And it's up to the really wealthy people who don't pay taxes to decide everything that is done for everybody else. That's what the deep state is in another version. So there's two versions of the deep state. There's one version that governments control you, and the other version is that corporations control you. And what is the truth? I have no idea. You know, who am I? I am just some guy who living in the corner of the world and surrounded in my little world by, you know, I work and I go out in the world and drive up and down the road, and I have no idea who's in charge. And my attitude about this in general is that we have to become animals. You know, we are animals. Just survive, you know. Eat it, you know, take care of your family and survive. And if there's somebody manipulating us into a direction, then maybe we should always look in the other direction and consider both sides. That's what the deep state doesn't want you to do. They want to steer you in a direction. Maybe we're all being manipulated without being able to control it. Maybe it's inescapable that the metadata will steer you in a direction that you don't even know, and I don't even know that I'm going. You know, that's very possible. So I don't think it really does exist in that much, though. I mean, maybe, but I doubt it.